Right, let's take you back to the story. Lawlessness, rampant corruption and gruesome crimes are fast becoming synonymous with disused mines in the country. The recent revelation of illegal miners gang raping women in the West Rand of Gauteng has been met with shock, highlighting the neglected issue of the criminal syndicates operating on the mine dumps. But whose responsibility is it to make sure disused mines aren't taken over by gangs? Is it the government or the companies who own the mines? Let's bring in the chairperson of the Portfolio Committee on Mineral Resources and Energy, Sahlulele Luzipo, to discuss this issue. Thank you very much, Mr. Luzipo, for your time here on All Angles. Now, firstly, we do know that there's a lot of disused mines in South Africa, particularly I think Gauteng experiences it quite a lot. In terms of sealing these mines, exactly whose responsibility is it? We know that the companies are supposed to seal them, but surely the government is supposed to make sure that this is done.
Look, good morning to you and the viewership. The first thing is that there is no doubt that post-1994, we have seen a lot of improvement as far as the challenges within the mining industry. One of the major problems I think we have considered, it becomes in the absence of any other person or institution, it becomes the state's responsibility to attend to most of the issues. That include what we call derelict and ownerless mines. You will recall part of the problems that we are dealing with law, and for quite some time in South Africa, since the 1600s, with the discovery of gold, we have had a problem of the legislation. So it becomes difficult that you can make someone liable with something that was not illegal at that time. Only post 1994, we have seen new legislation coming in with regards to responsibility for rehabilitation. Before that, it has always been mining, extracting without taking responsibility for the consequences. So to answer your question, quite simple, in the absence of any company that can take liability for the closure of the neglected ownerless mines, it means then the government must take that responsibility, obviously at a huge cost. Part of the challenge, obviously, has been that with regards to the sealing of those ownerless and derelict mines, it has been quite difficult for government, because the more you seal the mines, the more you are sending an indication that in that area where you are sealing, there is a shaft, and therefore they will start to dig around the very same area that you say it has been sealed. And that has been a problem. I think one typical good example is in the area of Sahlulele, and I hope I'm accurate, where instead of just sealing, they've put something like a race course, which then means you are closing a much bigger space, but obviously that will be at a cost. I think the issue that we've raised as a portfolio committee was that it is not necessarily even the issue of closing disused or ownerless mine. It is how do we attend to this issue of bare criminal elements. And our view is that you will not resolve the issue of illegal mining in this country if we don't attend to the actual culprits, which means those who might be selling in particular gold at official price, because there are those ones, there is a market available. And the question is, who are the kingpins that we need to attend to? Lastly, we need to find a way to
all right, I think we've lost
some of the commodities, including gold, in the same way you have done with that. It is an interrelationship in time. Yes, I'm saying it's an interrelationship in combating crime between the Department of Home Affairs, the Department of the South African Police Service, as well as the Department of...
Yeah, I was going to actually ask you about that. So since what happened in Krugersdorp over the weekend or over the last few days, has the Portfolio Committee on Mineral Resources at least called the minister responsible for this portfolio to perhaps appear before you to tell you what else can be done?
Well, no. You will recall, unfortunately, Parliament is on recess. That's point one. Point two, it is a crime scene. What has taken place? The issue is that I have consulted with the chairperson on police to say we have always argued that illegal mining is a criminal offense, and we need to enforce the law. Any person acts, any criminal element, there has to be an enforcement of the law. The Minister of Police had given guarantee that is working very closely with other ministers to combat crime, because we have to treat the issue as simple as an act of crime. There's nothing commercial. Even if you look at this incident, I think we must our sympathies. It is just a pure act of criminality that I think, for me, illegal mining has superseded commercial interest. It is just a pure act of people who believe that they are absolutely above the law.
And as you said, this is an interministerial issue. It involves the Ministry of Police, it involves the Ministry of Mineral Resources, and of course the Ministry of Home Affairs. And there's concern, especially after the fact that over 80 people who were arrested with this particular incident in Krugersdorp, most of them, at least according to the Police Minister and the Home Affairs Minister, are foreign nationals. So in terms of your concern, and as you discuss, I'm sure you are able to discuss as different committees, especially in particular illegal foreign nationals coming into our country and committing crime. Are you at all, raising the issue of South Africa probably just signing too many UN treaties or UN agreements to allow, to make this country so susceptible to this particular issue?
Look, that is why we said the Committee on International Relations is one of the committees that we think we need to work very closely with. As I've said, that when you deal with crime, you have to deal with crime regardless of where the individuals are coming from. But we can have no doubt to say part of the problem is that our borders might be too open. For example, if you go to the Free State, as one example, there is an area there where we were told that people underground were almost more than those who were in the township. You get more than 10,000 or even more than that. That is people underground. It actually means the big question will be, how did they access these particular mines, which are within our own borders? So that is why we say we have to look beyond the issue because there has been argument that formalize illegal mining and so forth. The truth of the matter is that it is an act that is based on criminal confidence, and it is our appeal that
and it's quite unfortunate, Mr. Luzipo, that at this.
As we have seen, there's nothing here.
You can continue, sir. You can continue. We had just lost you there a little bit, but you can continue.
No. What I think the point that what one is saying is that we have to deal with this issue as a pure act of criminality, and we have to be very decisive. And yes, I may agree with you that in some of the agreements that we entered with our neighboring countries, it is a matter that it's beyond South Africa's control. It requires, therefore, to be treated as part of the SADC interventions that must be dealt with.
I agree with you there, Mr. Luzipo. But just lastly, on our screens right now, we're actually showing live visuals of what's happening in the West Rand, rather, in Randfontein, in Gauteng, where the police minister Pegicele is with the Gauteng provincial commissioner Elias Mawela, and they're arresting quite a number of people, pertaining to illegal mining at disused mines. So I'm just interested to know if the portfolio committee, and if you as the chairperson, can give us a rough estimate of, particularly in Gauteng, how many of these disused mines that still need to be sealed are we looking at?
Well, there are quite a number. In fact, when we asked the department to give us an estimate, because we said part of the risk side of mining is the issue of illegal mining. And the cost estimation at that time that gave us to seal or to close those derelict and ownerless mines was almost to about 40 billion rands, and which we said We have to find a mechanism to deal with those issues. But as I've said, it may not necessarily be the cost of sealing or closing these mines. It may be the issue of the protection of our borders. And that's why we have asked the Portfolio Committee, also on Home Affairs, to assist and police to deal with that other part. And we think that there has to be a comprehensive strategy between all these institutions, including, by the way, the institution of state security, because in our view, illegal mining, as long as it's not treated as a threat to national security, we will not be able to find the required and the necessary intervention to deal with it decisively. And therefore, we must treat the issue of illegal mining as a threat to national security, and also accept the fact that it has reached a national crisis, and it cannot be combated by one institution of the state or by one department. It will require a collective effort of government to deal decisively with that particular challenge, including regulation of some of the commodities, in particular gold, because dealing with the actual people who are conducting illegal mining in those mines, we might be missing the question is, where is the market, and how do we close the market where they are selling this illegally?
All right, Mr. Luzipo, apologies, I have to wrap it up with you.